Hey everybody, it's time for a new segment called What's Your Story? During these segments, I'm going to be sitting down with some of you and some of the leaders, and we're just going to be having some coffee and some conversation and getting to know each other a little bit better. Our hope is we can have a little bit of fun while we get to know each other better over some coffee and conversation interview style. So I'm going to be sitting down with some students and some leaders through Zoom, and we're going to be getting to know each other better through some coffee and some conversations and a lot of fun. Our first What's Your Story is going to be with Dustin. So in just a few moments, I'm going to sit down with Dustin and we're going to see what's your story, Dustin. All right, everybody. Hey, how's it going? I'm here with Dustin. All right, so how's it going, Dustin?
Good.
All right, Dustin. So we're gonna. You got some coffee? You got some coffee with you?
I do.
Sweet. A little coffee and conversation with Dustin. So we're ready to go. We're gonna just go through some questions. This is What's Your Story, and so this is What's Your Story with Dustin. So Dustin, let's get started. And the first question that I'll ask you is, where were you born?
I was born right here in Great Falls, Montana.
Nice. Great Falls, Montana. All right, so you're born here in Great Falls, and how many siblings do you have?
I have two. I have an older brother who's going to be 38, and then I have a sister who's going to be graduating this year from Great Falls High.
Oh man, so she's graduating this year, so she's a senior here in the quarantine senior?
Yep, she's going to be graduating next month.
Oh man, so how's that going with being a senior with, the quarantine? How's that going with her? Is she kind of?
She's actually doing pretty well for the most part, but of course, we're all getting stir crazy and she's bored at home. So
Yeah. Is she is she handling the possibly her graduation being different? Is she handling that well?
yeah, she's actually handling it pretty well. Because my sister, she also is special needs as well. She has Down syndrome, so it's kind of everything's almost new to her as take it day by day, but she's handling it pretty well.
That's awesome. That's really cool. All right, so this is kind of a, a crazy transition from the last question, but let's transition to some. We're going to be having some silly questions in here too, along with some kind of more get to know you type questions. So this next question is, what's the best dad joke that you know?
Eh. So I actually did not think of this at the time, but I was driving over to the Greg's house, and it's a really nice day outside, and there was some deer in the field, and I pointed over. I was like, "Hey, look, those deer are having a heyday," and it was a nice day out, and they were in a hayfield.
That's awesome. They're having a heyday.
Yep.
That's a good one. I like that one. I might use that one sometime. So,
All right.
all right. So, do you have any weird talents or skills?
I can pop my shoulder blades out.
Oh, that's a weird party trick.
And then I can also move each eyebrow individually and do the wave.
Oh, that's nice. I like that. That's cool. I can kind of pop my shoulder out a little bit, but it's weird. So, when did you discover that you could pop your shoulder blades out?
Probably when I was in middle school, and it just happened naturally. Like usually, I've looked it up. Either it's like you were born with it, or you like broke your back, and I've never broken my back, so I was just born with it. And now they stick out like yay far.
Oh, wow, that's crazy. So I know that uh, you are a big fan of Halloween because we've had some conversations before, and I've actually seen you show me a couple of different Halloween costumes. I think that you've had. Plus, I know you had a really cool costume this past Halloween when we did our dodgeball. We did our masquerade dodgeball. That was pretty awesome. But with that in mind, what is your favorite Halloween costume that you've ever had?
It was probably this last year. I was Pennywise for the haunted house I was working in, and Pennywise has always been my favorite horror movie character. So I can talk like him and everything too. So it was pretty fun.
That's awesome. Did you scare some people?
Oh, I scared a bunch of people because the Halloween house it was a little short, but I was at the exit, so the only way they had to get out the door is they had to come by me as Pennywise, and they only had to go down one set of stairs. There was no way to really get anywhere.
I know, and that's kind of like one of your favorite pastimes or hobbies, right? Is scaring people.
Oh yeah, I love scaring people. Yep, I love Halloween. It's my favorite holiday of the year.
That's awesome. So I know you've been kind of stuck at home, just like all of us have. And so, what TV show or like movie series have you been binge watching?
We've been watching Supernatural, trying to get caught up on that, and then right now I'm watching 100 Humans Life Questions. So I
Sounds
just started it today, and it looked really interesting. So it's pretty much any questions that you or I would answer about a person or whatever in life. So
wow.
pretty
Maybe
interesting.
maybe I should check that out and get some more questions for you guys.
Hey, it's on Netflix. It's new.
That's awesome. All right. So uh, this is also kind of an odd question, but sometimes like everybody has maybe that one or two words that they just have a hard time pronouncing or saying right. So I want to know, is there a word that you just always have had a hard time pronouncing or saying properly? Like for instance, there's a person that I know, and they can't usually say the word vinegar right. Like they just have a hard time saying the word vinegar. It's like they go to say the word vinegar and it comes out like vinegar or something like that. So they just can't say it. They have to say it really slow or several times. And for me, the word's kind of always been either specific or statistics. For some reason, those two words always mess me up. I have to like stop and like say it really slow. So what's that word for you?
Mine is Anomaly.
Yeah.
And I was trying to figure out, I was like saying all sorts of different words. I was even looking up on Google if there's any words, but I can pronounce words pretty well, except for that one. I really have to think about it. And it was actually watching Supernatural when it came up, and I was like, oh, that's a word I can use because I
That's,
can't really have to really think about it.
yeah, that's actually one of the words for me too. So Lecrae, one of my favorite hip hop artists, he had I have actually having a shirt with that on it, and I'm like I always try have a hard time saying. I have to slow down. I'm like, okay, anomaly. See, I said it wrong now. I don't know.
Yep.
It's a hard word to say. Maybe a lot of people struggle with that one. So.
Yep.
So you're watching Supernatural. So I've watched a little bit of that show before too, and so sometimes there's like a lot of things going crazy on that. We've actually been going back and watching the Marvel movies over again. We started back and we kind of watching them in chronological order, so not the order that they were released, but back like if you were to watch them in like the dates they would have naturally happened, we were kind of watching them in that order. So that's been kind of fun to do. So that got me
Nice.
thinking about superpowers, and so uh, like so superpowers. What would be the most useless superpower you can think of?
Um, I would say to me, invisibility, because you can't really make your clothes invisible, so you have to be naked, like remove all your clothes in order to do something.
Yeah,
So that's my opinion is the useless superpower is being invisible.
that would be weird. And like, and then what if you like all of a sudden, you know, you were in public and somehow your superpower failed. You know, you'd be exposing yourself to everybody. That would be horrible. So
Yep. And if you're like in snow, you're gonna be cold. Or if it's raining outside,
that would be awful.
people will steal you.
That's great. You have to come up with some kind of super suit that also like you know made that also disappeared. You know that kind of thing. I guess like the
Yeah.
Incredibles, they made like that whatever that gal's name in the Incredibles that can make awesome super suits. Maybe she can make you invisible. But yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
All right. So next question is super serious. Not really. So, which animal do you think would be the funniest if it were able to talk?
I'd say a monkey. A monkey would be the funniest because who knows what's going on through their little brains when they're like playing or doing whatever.
Yeah, that would be funny.
Yeah.
All right. So, where would be your dream vacation?
My dream vacation would be a guided hunt in Alaska
Oh,
because I've always wanted to go there. I love hunting, and it's a good place to. It's a nice, beautiful place to be, from what I've seen on pictures and from everybody else. So
yeah, that's cool. I've never been to Alaska either, but I've heard it's beautiful. I've seen some pictures of it. It seems like it's beautiful, and I bet as a hunter, I bet it would be pretty awesome to go there.
yeah.
Some big bears there for sure, and some other
Oh yeah.
things. So that'd be pretty awesome. All right, here's a good one. What is your most embarrassing moment?
So I was working. I really had to think about this one because I couldn't really think of an embarrassing moment. But I was working over at Great Falls High, and some of our students were taking a test in my room, and I busted out a huge fart, and I blamed it on the kid that was sleeping. While the student next to me ratted me out, and yeah, he yelled it in front of the whole class.
Oh man, that's
And it wasn't like I was planning it either. It just came out.
so. Not only did you bust out a large fart, but then you got busted for blaming it on the sleeping kid.
Yep, yep.
That's awesome. Oh man. All right. So back to animals for a second. Uh, if you could merge any two animals together, what would they be and why?
A rhino and a lion. Um, well, they're both my favorite animals, and it'd be like as my wife puts it, a predator tank.
A
So,
predator tank. Nice.
yep,
Have you ever seen a lion or a rhino before? Like
yeah,
live?
yep. I've been up close with a rhino when I was at a zoo. They're actually washing it, and we were able to like walk through their stalls and stuff, and got like real up close and personal with the rhino. So,
That's pretty cool. I uh, I went to Africa a few years ago, and it was on a mission trip that we went with the church, and uh, we had a day off or two, and we went to a safari, and we were able to see. We weren't able to get really close to the rhinos, so because I don't think they try to get too close because I'm charging the vehicle or anything like that, but we were able to get pretty close and enough to see him really, you know, a good shot of him, plus especially with the binoculars. But we were like super close to the lions. Like we got like almost uncomfortably close to the lions. Like uh, there was a couple of male lions, and then there was a bunch of lionesses that were there. And one of the female lions literally walked within like 3 feet from the vehicle, just walking right there. And I'll be
Wow.
honest, that was a bit uncomfortable. I was a little scared. I was even recording it, but I was just scared to like, what's keeping this lioness from just jumping in and like just taking us out, somehow. But
Yeah, that'd be cool,
it
but
was
scary.
super cool. It was super cool. The only thing I think that would have been cooler is if, because we knew that they were kind of out looking, like they were maybe out hunting. So I thought it'd be kind of cool to see them actually, you know, take out, something, just, hunting.
Yeah.
That'd be kind of cool. All right. So, what was your favorite subject in school?
Mine was PE and weight training.
Nice. So,
Yep, I've always
that's
liked working out.
sweet. All right. So, along that lines, then, did you play any sports growing up?
I did. I played football. That's about the only sport I was really good at. So,
So, I was gonna ask like, what sports did you play and which ones were you good at? So what position did you play in football?
I played center and defensive end.
Sweet. So in the trenches. Nice.
Yep.
Very cool. So was that your traditional football, or was that like the 8-man or 6-man football?
It was just a traditional football. I played for Great Falls High for 2 years. So,
Oh, sweet. So you're a bison.
yeah. Yep.
Nice. All right. So what are your 5 favorite foods? Or like, for instance, if you could only have 5 foods that you could eat for the rest of your life, what would those 5 foods be?
It'd be steak, mashed potatoes, pizza, um, corn, and lemon meringue pie.
Nice. So, all right. So steak, mashed potatoes, pizza, corn, and lemon meringue pie. That's that's
Yep.
that's 5 pretty good choices right there. Uh,
Yep.
so here's some important questions about that then. So I'll follow up a little bit with that. So steak, how do you like it cooked?
Medium rare.
Perfect. I was gonna be upset if you said like well done, because that's like,
Oh,
why would
no
you?
way.
That's like the worst. It's like, it's got to be medium rare. That's the only way to eat
Yep.
steak. So do you put any sauce on your steak, or do you typically just eat it like, maybe a dry rub or something like that?
Sometimes I'll put seasonings on there, but my wife, she makes a really good homemade sauce that she makes with it. So sometimes I'll use a little bit of her sauce, or I'll just put some seasonings on it and then cook it up on the grill.
So my favorite way, I love steak too. That would be one of my 5 as well. My favorite way to cook a steak is to have a dry rub on it, and then I'll cook it in an iron skillet, and then I'll baste it with some butter as well. And that's typically all I do with it. But if I were to like choose like the best way I would like to do it, would be to do that and then maybe top it with some sautéed mushrooms and onions. That would be pretty awesome. That's
Yeah.
how about your pizza? What's your favorite toppings on a pizza?
I like Hawaiian pizza, and so does my wife. So like pineapple and Canadian bacon, and
Nice, good choice. I used to think I hate cooked fruit, and like, but that's pretty much the only fruit that I don't eat any fruit now, but like when I would eat fruit, the only fruit that I would eat really cooked is pineapple. So that's pretty good on a pizza, I have to admit. So
yeah. Yep.
awesome. All right, so what song would be the most embarrassing out of your all the songs in your playlist if it were to just start playing out of the blue? What song would be the most embarrassing?
Um, Most of them are pretty good, but I would have to say Captain Jack Sparrow by Lonely Island would probably be the most embarrassing one for me.
That's awesome. I don't know, so your daughter's not super young, so like I know back in the day when my kids were younger, and I would sometimes keep some songs on my phone or something for them. If that were to just like pop out and start playing, like something from like Barney or something weird like that depending on where I was, that'd be pretty embarrassing.
Yeah.
All right. So along those same kind of lines, what TV show or like series, what TV show do you watch that you'd probably be the most reluctant to admit? Like, maybe it's like a guilty pleasure or something like that. Like what TV show would be the most reluctant to admit to everybody that you watch?
Well, I'm pretty open about any TV shows, really, but my wife thought of a movie that I watch, and it's Fried Green Tomatoes, and it's one of my favorite movies.
Is it really?
Yes.
That's awesome.
Yep.
That's probably that wouldn't be something that most people I think would be like, hey, Dustin's like one of his favorite movies is Fried Green Tomatoes. They wouldn't like look at you and be like, hey, I bet that's one of your favorite movies.
No, probably not. And my wife was actually surprised about it when when I told her that when it was on TV that we're watching it.
I have to admit though, that's actually a really good movie. I've seen it. I've
It
seen it
is.
a few times. It's a great movie.
It
I
is, and that's how I learned how to make fried green tomatoes.
Nice. That was gonna be my next question. Have you ever ate fried green tomatoes?
Yep. Yep. And that's the movie I actually learned how to make fried green tomatoes from. So
Nice. Those are so good. I used to eat them all the time. Uh, most of the people know that I grew up in the South, and so I have a lot of Southern roots in the southeastern part of the United States, and we love some fried green tomatoes. We love fried anything really in the South, but yeah, fried green
yep.
tomatoes are good. Little dip them in a little ranch, and so
Mm-hmm.
good, so good.
Yep.
Actually, I believe that when I saw that movie when it came out in the theater, and I'm pretty sure that I went with my grandmother to see that movie. So it was pretty awesome. So that holds even more value to me then because of how special my relationship was with her. So,
Yeah.
all right. So, how old were you when you accepted Christ?
There's actually a couple times. The first one when I was 13. Um, that was more of my grandmother kind of pushing me towards it. And then another time I believe I was 27 when Eric Backstrom kind of reintroduced me and back going to church and stuff with their group they had at the time.
So it sounds like when you were young, like in that 13-year-old was more of a hey, I feel pressured. This is my grandmother, and kind of doing it to make her happy, kind of thing.
Yeah.
And it sounds like when you got older at 27 is when it really became real to you that hey, this is something that I need to do for me, and that's a real relationship between you and Jesus. That's pretty cool.
Yep.
Awesome. That's awesome. So, what 5 words would you use to describe yourself?
Um, I would say strong, determined, stubborn, and my wife doesn't believe this one, but quiet. I'm usually quiet most of the time, and then a gaming nerd because I like playing video games a lot.
That's awesome. I whoa, getting a little reverb. So I believe that. I would believe that quiet part. So there's definitely times when I would say, hey, quiet to describe you. So do you play games online?
I do. I have a PlayStation. I play games online. Um, I play all sorts of games, anything, everything, really. So I'm not really picky on stuff.
What game has been your quarantine game so far?
Well, I already beat it. Only took me a full 28 hours to beat it, which was roughly about 3 days.
I was, just,
Uh,
was it 28 hours like straight? Like how big of a
no,
game nerd are you?
it was over a period of 3 days. It was actually the Final Fantasy VII remake that literally just came out last week Monday, and I got it. I got the game Thursday. I had to order it, and so I started that day, and then this last Sunday I beat it at 2 a.m.
Nice. I was just
But
talking.
other than, oh, go ahead.
Yeah, I was just talking to somebody else, I think a couple of days ago, and they were just talking about. I think they must have got it right when you got it too, because they were talking about how it was one of their favorite games in their childhood, and so the remake was super cool, and they were playing it a lot. So
Yeah, I remember when that game first came out on the original PlayStation. So I was pretty excited it came out.
I heard they kind of it's they kind of stayed true to it, but they also did some pretty cool upgrades to the graphics and stuff too.
Oh, they did. The storyline was pretty much the same. They did a lot of the graphics are phenomenal on it. The only thing that I was bummed out is I couldn't play as my favorite character, which is Red 13. He's an automatic character that comes in and helps you out. So that's the only thing I was bummed about.
That's cool. All right, so those were the five words that you use that you would say describe you. So now I want you to tell me what five words do you think most other people would use to describe you?
So my wife wrote these down when I already asked the question, and I didn't, and she didn't even tell me what they were. So uh, she said gym buff, goofy, and tall. Those were the those were the only three that she came up with. So, but she doesn't think I'm quiet. She thinks I'm a chatterbox. It's because I've been stuck at home, quarantined, and I'm drinking coffee and my pre-workout.
Cheers, coffee.
So yeah, those were the words that she described.
Nice. So, what's your favorite Bible verse? What's your favorite Bible verse and why?
Um, Let me go ahead and get it pulled up here. It is Psalms 144, verse 1. And it is said, Blessed be the Lord, my rock, who trains my hands for war and my fingers for battle.
Nice.
Um, so for that one is like just kind of like a reminder for me that, just taking every day for like be ready every day for anything and everything that can come around the corner. Like say like for like my hands for wars, what means to me is helping people in need or just helping others in general. um, Fingers for wars of just kind of my skills that I've learned over the years for like say first aid, CPR, or just helping hands around the neighborhood.
That's cool. So, only a few more questions left. So, if you could spend one day being able to hang out and chat with anyone, and it could be this person could be currently they could be dead or alive. This could be anyone throughout history, anyone that you could have never met them before or you have met them before. If you could spend the day chatting with one person, and can't be Jesus because all of us would probably say Jesus. So anyone other than Jesus, who would that person be and why?
um, I had to really think about this one. but I would have probably choose. He's alive today. It's Dwayne Johnson, just because he came from nothing and literally worked his way, like literally to the bone and everything, to where he's at now. And I also, my workout routine is based right off all of his workouts that he does, and that he on the different movies of different workout he's done. So I'd probably have to say him, just because it'd be a little bit of history of what he kind of went through, and get good advice and wisdom from him.
Yeah, The Rock.
Yep.
So, what's your favorite movie that he's been in then?
Jumanji.
Yeah,
I watched the first one, and then we watched the second one probably a few weeks ago, but that's probably one of my favorite movies that he's in.
that's cool. I
Really
still
funny.
haven't seen the second one. I still haven't seen the second one yet.
Oh, you got to. It's super funny.
I'll have to check it out. I'll have to check it out. Uh, I've seen a few movies with him in it, and there's been quite a few that I like. So, all right, and I used to be a huge wrestling nerd, like wrestling fan, and so I was a
Yep.
huge The Rock fan. I was the whole if you smell what The Rock is cooking and all that kind of stuff. I used to love it. So.
Yep.
All right. So, which one of the following terms? I'm gonna list off a few terms here, and so I want to know which one of these terms would your former classmates. So, like in high school, your former classmates in high school. Which one of the following terms would they have used to say that it most fits you? So back in high school, if they were to say if they were all been given these terms and this, okay, well, which one of these terms fits Dustin, the high school Dustin, the most? What would they have said? So here it is: athlete, class clown, teacher's pet, troublemaker, lone wolf, nerd, or friend.
Uh, Probably the lone wolf, because I usually stuck to myself. And yeah, I played football, but I was mostly stuck to myself, and a few friends here and there. But yeah, that's how they would probably describe me as.
All right, all right. Okay, a couple more questions left. So this next one, two things. What would you say is your biggest strength? And on the flip side, what would you say is your biggest weakness?
Let's see. I would say my physicality is my biggest strength, and my weakness would be opening up or communication. If there's like say 4 or 5 people around, it's kind of harder to me open up or something like that.
All right. All right, this is the last question. And we're going to end it like this. So, I mean, you pretend you could go back in time and you can go back in time and see your 15-year-old self. So you're back in time, you're sitting right across from your 15-year-old self. So pretend like it's not me you're sitting across from or virtually sitting across from. You're having a little Zoom interview with your 15-year-old self. What advice would you give to your 15-year-old self?
I would tell my 15-year-old self to do full-time military instead of National Guard. Because now, with I've always wanted to explore the world and stuff. I got into hunting and all that, and I could have explored the entire world if I was in full time.
Very cool. All right. Well, thanks, Dustin, for sitting down, having some coffee with me,
Yep.
and having some coffee and questions. And thanks for telling us your story. This was What's Your Story with Dustin right here. Dustin, thanks, man, for hanging out with us and chatting. And I look forward to another What's Your Story soon.
Yep, sounds good.
All right, so that was our first segment of What's Your Story. Look for another one coming really soon. I'll see you guys later.